Before we get started tonight, I want to come clean and be very transparent about the nature of my intentions. In the course of my creative career, I have expressed countless thoughts, opinions, and concepts through artistic dialogue. Within the folds of that, I have never tried to convince anyone of anything. My job is to testify. Through that testimony, hopefully and optimistically, I do my best through my love of language to inspire independent critical thought. I know full well that I do not have all of the answers. Instead, I ask you to search for your own. I also want to come clean and be very transparent about one of my core beliefs. It is my belief that every man, woman, and child on this earth is capable of both the highest good and the greatest evil. Here's a question for the kids at home. How do you believe we decide which path to choose? Do you believe that we even have a choice? Or are you of the belief that you are who you are? Maybe you believe who we are is dependent on how we were raised and what we've experienced. Perhaps each of us is this unique mixture of happenstance and genetic disposition. Regardless of who we really are, our true nature, or how we came to be, who we've become, there is one thing that has us all figured out. And it is not concerned one bit about our well-being. It is heartless. It is void of emotion. And it is without shame. It claims to have your best interest at heart, and over the next few minutes, I will certainly argue otherwise. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dudes and dudettes, the sexy and the not so sexy, big children and little. Welcome to the information era, where everyone on the streets has a computer in their pocket, but nobody really knows shit.
Let's think this through.
Let's think this through.
Let's think this through. Let's think this through.
Welcome back. You are now tuning in to episode 10 of Let's Think This Through. I'm sure you guys know how this show works at this point, and if you don't, I have no doubt you'll figure it out. Over the course of my lifetime, I have observed technology becoming amazingly sophisticated. I watched my mother as a teenager work for companies like IBM and do word processing, independent business style. Boss. Working from home and saving her work on floppy disk. Remember them shits? I remember the Atari 2600 game console. Miss Pac-Man taking all of my quarters at the arcade. Sega Dreamcast, MySpace, Windows XP, BlackBerry phones, the flip joint, PlayStation 2, the launch of YouTube, and my first iPad. I have observed technology bringing information to people in useful ways, as well as ways that were not productive in the least. Technology has shown me the brilliance of mankind. It has also given me a front row seat to dark places I never knew existed. All of which made me apply every core belief I had about mankind onto that of technology. That it too is capable of both the highest good and the greatest evil. Like I said about mankind at the top of the show. I am certainly not the first to at least be suspicious of technology. How many Hollywood stories have been told about a computer becoming aware of itself, consequently viewing mankind through its own lens and coming to its own conclusion? The Hollywood worst case scenario is always the machines figure the world would be a better place if mankind were not a part of it, right? And that we need to be wiped out or eliminated, making the existence of man like a clever verse of poetry, where a perfect God creates an imperfect man, and an imperfect man makes a perfect machine he worships as God, that inevitably destroys him. I have observed a healthy amount of fear towards technology and an unhealthy fear as well. This all makes perfect sense to me. God creates man in her image. Man creates machine in his. Of course, we know full well what we did with our opportunity. So naturally, we would be suspicious of our own creation. This brings me to a burning question. Would an artificial intelligence be capable of morality? I'll say that again. Would an artificial intelligence be capable of morality? It's one of my tougher questions. But since I am not a world-famous computer hack, I will use my best logic to attempt to answer this question. First, I looked at how a computer thinks. All questions I asked about how computers and how they think led me to the same place. This place was the algorithm. Simply put, the algorithm is a set of steps designed to accomplish a task. We perform tasks every day. It might be going to the grocery store or making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So you could say our brains have algorithms for such tasks. As such, there are computer algorithms. There are algorithms for color rendering 3D objects. There are route finding algorithms for GPS devices. Game algorithms that study every possible move you can make in a game of chess so that it can beat you, and so on. After a day of study on the subject and a good night's sleep, my hypothesis that answers the question is hell to the no. Algorithms do not have morals. Algorithms are designed for specific tasks. And at the end of the day, those tasks revolve around increasing profit margins. The basic all-around function of every algorithm, regardless of its specific tasks, is to keep folks engaged. It is designed to give us what we want when we want it. It is designed for us to keep our eyes glued to it. Our attention must stay fixated on it. We can make the technology work for us, or we can become slaves to it. This brings me to my prediction, which is based on the hypothesis. Just because something like an algorithm may not have a moral compass doesn't necessarily mean that it's evil. If an algorithm is designed, for example, to keep you logging on to interact with Facebook, is it evil by choosing what to show you based solely on what it believes you will most likely interact with? I predict that once I bring attention to the human nature of the whole thing, as it pertains to our habits on social media, you might look at things a little differently. Now, real shit. As an artist, I have conducted many experiments online to see what would be the best way to get people to invest in my art. I studied books, articles, and tips from some of the top digital marketers that I could find. I did everything they say you should do. I have a home website with an easy to remember domain name. The website has plenty of content uploaded to it weekly. It is designed by some of the best in the business. It is interactive and user-friendly. I use social media to bring attention to this content, to draw people back to the art on my home website. I have an artist page on Facebook with thousands of followers. I have a YouTube channel with over 1,000 subscribers. I have a Twitter account with over 3,000 followers. Yet still, with all of that, when I post a new YouTube video from YouTube directly or through my website, I might not get one like or one share. Interesting. It seems like the algorithm simply will not show my art to any of my 500 Facebook friends. Why would it do that? Is it evil? Does my marketing suck? Does my art suck? And if my art does suck, why do I have so many followers and subscribers? That same day, I may take a selfie of might take a selfie while standing like on the Golden Gate Bridge. That picture will get 100 likes and 7 shares inside of an hour. My first thoughts to this phenomenon was that social media platforms were on some real bullshit. To me, it appeared that if you had an independent business you were trying to promote, that Facebook wanted you to pay them if you wanted people to see it on their page. Then I started thinking differently. Yes, I still believe corporate greed is a part of it, but only a part of it. I look at human nature, and truth be told, we don't want to support and uplift each other like that. We are willing to support our inner circle of people we consider close to us, the ones we hold dear, sure. But the algorithm knows most people would click the like button on a selfie before they hit the like button of the link to your website. The algorithm knows you are most likely to engage with the video of a guy barbecuing before you would interact with the video claiming that it had the cure for cancer. If you typically open posts about certain topics, certain viewpoints, and certain opinions from certain people, then the algorithm is going to give you that. The algorithm doesn't care about a different perspective. It doesn't care about the opposite argument. It doesn't have any interest in seeking truth. It is simply designed to perform a task. When I sit back and really analyze all of this information, it puts the onus back on us. It is up to us to police our own behavior, and this is no easy task. I police myself with prayer. When I first wake up, I talk to God before I put my nose in my phone. I sit still in silence and focus on what needs to be done that day. Then I plug into the matrix, influenced by a higher version of myself and not by any weirdo vibration that was introduced to me by the way of an algorithm without a conscience. Throughout my day, I do things to make my phone a utility for my positive agenda, and try to be mindful that it won't take much to become a slave to the dopamine rush it is designed to get you hooked on. Yeah, I know. Self-discipline is a hard thing to master. I don't claim to be a monk either. I am a human being, fundamentally flawed, filled with ego, pride, and vanity just like everyone else. You take this perspective and you decide what's best for you. Hopefully, this podcast will provide some form of utility to you. We'll see. Until next time, take care of yourselves.